I think that was a process when I realized that this wasn't the end. As soon as I left the doctor's office, I sat in my car for 2 hours and listened to the same song called Lost for Now by my favorite artist, or one of my favorite artists, Bilal. And basically the song really talks about going on a journey and not just being lost, not knowing, but then at the end of the song there's this climax around just the idea that love is there still, and that's what needs to guide you. And so that song really is reminiscent of my process. In that moment, I was just lost, but there was still something on the inside of me that told me that that this was an opportunity, and I saw that through the support of friends. I saw that through the support of a faith community and having a faith relationship myself, support of a pastor. When I first got diagnosed, I didn't tell any of my family. I felt safer to tell my close friends. So I literally, I was living at home at the time because I was jobless, remember? So I literally had to hide my status for months from my parents because I just was shamed. But it was the community of friends, community of faith leaders that I had a relationship with, and my own personal relationship with God that allowed me to realize that, it's not the end of the world. And the real moment that I really felt a sense of healing and restoration was when I was able to forgive myself, which came about 4 months after my diagnosis. Now that sounds like a lot of people, I think, who are positive, we are often dealing with trying to figure out a way to forgive ourselves for a number of reasons. But I had learned from a child, something my mom always told me, was that secrets kill. And I knew that this secret and me carrying it as a burden would end up killing me if I didn't forgive myself. And fortunately, because of, like I said, my community of support, I was able to get to a place of forgiveness for myself. And from that moment on, I really allowed myself to see this as an opportunity, not just for me to be healed, but for me to use this this diagnosis, this thing that is supposed to, in your life, as an opportunity to serve others and to give back to my community. As a Black gay man, we are very at risk for HIV. And so knowing that there are plenty of younger Black gay men who might go through the same thing I'm going through, I was able to see why this was important for me, Isaiah Ryan Wilson, to have to carry. Because, like I said, I don't think anything happens for a reason. I think it's all about how we choose to play the cards we're dealt. And once I forgave myself, I refused to allow myself to sink into depression anymore. I refused to allow myself to be dictated or told that I was something because of my status. And it really allowed me a platform to not only talk to my local community of friends, but a platform to talk to the world. I wrote a blog. I really was able to, because I knew once I was able to forgive myself, and once I knew that, this is just a part of who I am, not all of who I am, I had to share that story with so many other people who are hurting and who don't have the support that I have. And the best way I thought to do that was to write it and to just put it out there. And since that day, I still hear from folks who read my open letter about finding out my HIV status and how it really helped them get through their first few days of dealing with it, and first few days and months, and the whole process of continuing to get through it. Because it is a process. Even though I have forgiven myself, even though I feel much better on my outlook, there are days I get depressed. Not necessarily because of my HIV status, but because life is hard. And until we are constantly telling ourselves that we're enough, that we are purposefully here, the more we say that to ourselves, I think the better we're able to navigate life and to use downfalls and problems as opportunities. That's going to be my theme, opportunities. And I think that honestly is my theme in life. You have to really allow what's thrown at you to really be your motivation to be your best self. It's hard to do, but the more you're able to really be in tune with who you are, whose you are, and know that I don't care what comes my way, HIV, be it complications from HIV, I'm still enough, and I still have purpose. And if you have that spirit in you, that's what's going to get you through, and that's what's gotten me through. I would say you're enough, and I don't care who doesn't date you, who doesn't want to be around you because of your status. All of the people who love and support you will outweigh that. The more you carry that shame and the more you live in that depression, the more your body, your health is going to react to it. So you have to be the anchor. Your individual self have to be the anchor, because your body's going to follow what your mind and spirit tell it to do. So I would really tell my younger self, this is not the end. This is only the beginning. And all of the dreams that you've had prior to your diagnosis are still there. They're just going to be propelled in a different way. And you have to take every day as an opportunity to use what so many have said is going to end all of those dreams from coming to happen, but use it as an opportunity for those dreams to happen. It takes that self-motivation and self-empowerment to really still be on the right track to make your dreams come true. Well, one of the things was really HIV doesn't discriminate. I am an educated professional who had everything going for him. And most people have seen me as and called me a role model. So HIV really forced me to have to face my mortality, but also face the fact that I'm a human being and I'm flawed. And that's okay. I think a lot of times we get so caught up in keeping up facades because of who we are or what title we have or our reputation, that when something is hurting us, we act like it's not. And so HIV really forced me to confront that. And in my blog, I really conveyed the message that you have to allow yourself to be present in order to get to the next moment. You have to allow yourself to not be dictated by your reputation or who people think you are, but allow yourself to be a human being. And all of these things that you put on yourself, at the end of the day, you're still human. And you can make mistakes. It's all about what you do after that mistake. And I don't even call it a mistake anymore, and that's what the blog really spoke to. I'm living with HIV, but HIV is not who I am. HIV is a part of who I am. And because of HIV, I am more compassionate, I am more empathetic, I am a more present human being than before. And so, if anything, HIV has really allowed me to live my best life. And that's what I really conveyed in that blog. And I think a lot of times we get so caught up in the diagnosis and all the getting on the medications and reacting and then all what people are going to say. And we don't allow ourselves to really see that it's not just us. It's so many people who are going through this one. But then we've got a whole lot of stuff beyond HIV that we've got to deal with. And that's actually the root of it. HIV just allows you to get to understanding and seeing what all of the other crap is. And it's a wake-up call. You either are going to wake up or you're going to sink more into depression. It's a conscious choice that you have to make. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. And so that's what I'm always talking about. How do we get to a place where we're healthy and well enough to make the choices that are best for ourselves? And that's hard work. That's a daily struggle I have. Your HIV diagnosis is your road to success. Your HIV diagnosis is your path to live out every dream you've ever imagined and more. That's what I would say. Because, and I'll just add to that, HIV not only allowed me to live my best life, but it allowed me to see things that I didn't see beforehand and allow me to dream bigger. I was very, very limiting in my abilities, I would say, before my diagnosis and before going through the process. But going through the process of healing allowed me to think bigger for myself. Isaiah, HIV will not only allow you to live your best life, but it will allow you to dream bigger than you ever had before. Because of the resilience that you have, that you're going to go through in getting to a place of healing and restoration, as a result of your HIV diagnosis, you're going to see the power and the strength and the endurance that you have that you didn't ever know that you had. You are more powerful than you think, and HIV is going to show you that. It's hard. It's very hard. You're going to go through night sweats. You're going to get up in the middle of the night and have to throw up because of the medication. You're going to have those experiences, and at the same time in your mind, you're literally going to be hearing voices telling you you're not enough, you're going to die. Your families, once they find out, they're going to neglect you. They're not going to want to be around you. They're going to you're just going to have so many, not only physical issues, but emotional issues that will send you into a tailspin. But the one thing that will always work, that has always worked for you, is prayer. That is the only time that you'll be able to really just cloud out all of those voices, cloud out all of those feelings, and really focus on yourself and your connection with your higher power. That's what's going to get you through, because it's through those quiet times that not only are you talking to yourself, but you'll feel something on the inside let you know that, okay, this isn't the end. But you've got to find a way to have those quiet moments and get out of all of the emotions, all of the physical things that you're going through. It's a challenge, but you're more than able to meet that challenge. It's really important, because at this point in my life and at my diagnosis, I'm so blessed, and there's so many people that I know don't have the type of support that I had. But it wasn't, the support was great, but it was really having those quiet moments with myself that allowed me to really feel myself get better. Not just physically, but emotionally. Like, I could drown out the world in just prayer, meditation, whatever your, spiritual path is. You have to have that. I don't care if you're a Christian, Buddhist, whatever. There has to be a moment where you're just at one. For me, that was prayer. It really allowed me to think and get outside of my situation. And if you can't get to that point, I don't see how you get through something like HIV. Because HIV, more than it being physical, I think it's so much more mental. It's so much more you trying to get out of your head and out of what you think others are going to think of you. And until you can get there, I think you're going to have a lot of problems and a lot of depression and a lot of second guessing. It's really about you just being present. And I didn't know that. That's so funny. I didn't know how depressed and how unaware I was until I got my HIV diagnosis. It sucks that it took HIV for me to wake up, but I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't. Your parents, your family, they're going to feel this hard. Because HIV just doesn't impact you, it impacts everyone around you, and you're going to really, really feel hurt because of the way your parents, because of the way your brother are going to react. But know that their reaction is not the end. Their reaction is because they're human just like you, and you cried, they have to cry, they have to vent. But that doesn't change the fact that they love you. And that's something that I had to work through with my family. It didn't come easy. But now you have such support from your family, to the point your mother, who used to be the most homophobic gay basher in the world, is your number one supporter and is now speaking out as a mother against HIV, about talking to young people. She's leading. Who would have thought? But it's all because you chose to be vulnerable and to be open about who you were and what you're going through. And that's the power that you have. The power you have to really change life, to change paradigms, and to leave this world, whenever you do leave this world, a better place. That's what HIV is going to do for you.